because she
No,
was
that's
trying
boo.
to insinuate that exactly what you alluded to
Right.
about these videos are coming out and this,
Right.
but understand though, it was the way she said it that
Yeah, I
took it
wasn't
out
in
of
there. I don't know
context.
none of this.
That took it out of context.
Mhm.
And like I said, what you're saying,
Mhm.
I could understand where you're coming from, a good place from it, but how it's being delivered it wasn't the appropriate time. But Chef wanted her to state it online because she was putting it off the blame off on her on what happened. So it was her fault
I see what
that
you're
the
saying.
400 plus people were exposed. It was her fault
Mhm.
XYZ happened. It cannot be someone's fault
Right.
in that instance because I don't have
Yeah,
control over
I
you,
don't think it was her
Angel.
fault. That I don't think
Right.
that's
Right.
a blame. I don't think this is a blame thing. I don't think this is a blame people thing. What I think it
But
is
Queen
a
Jewel, baby, I'm sorry, but Queen Jules, she was alluding to that, baby.
yeah. That's
That's
what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't think that she should have been blamed because I don't think Chef knew that that was gonna happen. I don't think she should have been blamed for that at all. What my point is,
Mhm.
once exposure, like people compared it today with Bella, right? And people's like, well, that's not a comparison. So which is the comparison if we're exposing ourselves on public platforms? Is
Mhm.
it because it's our public platform that makes it a difference? Is it the disclaimer that makes it a difference? What makes it a difference? Because once we start exposing ourselves publicly,
Mhm.
you're gonna
Mhm.
get more and more pervs coming out to your
Right.
platform because you're opening a space for that public shit. And not saying they right, but
But
they're
to
gonna
me,
feel
that's what I
welcome in
felt
it.
like. But to me, that's what I felt like. That's what Jules was alluding to. Not like blaming her, but just saying like, that's what will happen. You know what I'm saying?
So T, I'm confused. Were you these
Yeah, me too. It's
um
Huh?
it's very confusing.
What's up, Trip?
the videos that you was getting of Chef and HB and all that? Were these videos filmed before the Q video or after the Q video?
This all was after the Q video.
Meaning they got on live and did these acts that were sent to you after his video went out.
Yeah.
Oh.
But they wasn't on. I guess I don't know what platform. Somebody told me yesterday it was on live, but then I'm being told that it was on Discord. Chef said it's on Discord, but Chef said she did talk about it, which I wasn't gonna talk about it publicly. But she told me today that she's already talked to y'all about it publicly. That she talked about it last night publicly. She told everybody yesterday, and when I told her the first time, she went live about it and said we grown, we do what we do in Discord. But my thing is, I'm keep getting emails from people with pictures. People are sending me receipts. So
Yeah.
I'm like, and I told Chef, I said, if they sending me these receipts, do you know where all of it? They're gonna leak this shit to other people. So some people
Right.
saying it
It
was
ain't
on
just
live.
going to you.
Yeah.
It's not just gonna go to me. So now it's
Right.
gonna start looking bad because we outraged about Q, and now this shit starts to get leaked of all of the shit that I got. It's
And they're
going to
gonna
look
say you did it
bad.
after the Q
Yeah.
video.
So they're saying it's different, but it's consenting. So okay, that's what I'm trying to understand.
I'm gonna go on mute for I be in court on Sunday. I'm gonna
Whew.
go on mute.
This is so confusing. It is.
These girls has no, it
Straightforward,
doesn't to
y'all.
use anything you put on there. So yeah, well the Discord. I don't know why y'all think that just because it's on Discord that y'all can do whatever because Discord
Right.
also has Discord is a fucking
Public.
gaming. It's a
It's a
gaming. It's a
public.
kids
The
gaming
gaming
thing.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a public forum. So
So
it's
even if
still.
it's private and you got like
Yeah.
what y'all gotta understand is Discord will be liable even if somebody pay and even if you say what I'm saying what's gonna happen is if somebody says you know what they're doing if something's gonna happen.
Mhm.
I'm finna get off this live.
I,
Brother
I I
JV, what you
I
think,
love the
man?
fact that you have this fairness in you in a way of looking at like looking at it. You know what I'm saying? It's not about just like this is my friend or these are my friends and whatever. It's like opening it up and talking about how things, you either gotta walk this line, or you know what I'm saying. If you don't want something like that to happen, then you shouldn't be out there doing the same thing. And I feel like, I don't know, it's very weird.
So at this point, do y'all just call it off everything? As if the man, so I'm just saying, because at this point, I feel like the black community want to go in circles. Why niggas ain't just blocking him? The ones that don't like him can block him. The ones that ain't got no problem with what he did, they just keep moving freely. Because you go to trying to push him off the app, he gonna be holding on to a few of y'all when he go down. So at this point, it's not cool to just block him. If you don't like what he did, just block him and move forward.
I don't agree with what he did at all.
Well, I know
But what
T-Time,
I'm,
because they
yeah,
said he did it to your picture, so
And
I
does.
keep blocking.
yeah, I don't agree with what he did at all. Go ahead, JV. Go ahead, JV.
Hey, how's it going, Ty?
That's good.
How's everyone up here doing? So I just really came up when I heard that question. You kind of answered it already, Ty. The question was asked, how long do someone pay for what they've done? There's certain crimes in my opinion, you should pay for a lifetime, and that's one of them. It's at no point is society required to forgive you for unaliving, especially a little one. That should be, all of us should be in unison of that being a punishment for a lifetime.
But we're all not, and that's the part. So the same way that you feel like that and I feel like that or whatever, the person that had such an outrage on Heartbreaker being on my panel had that person as a mod. And when that person found out that that person was her mod, that he did that, that person didn't get outraged and say and stand on business with him. This is why I say it's dangerous to start putting yourself in this shit. Because you're mad at Heartbreaker. You're like, Heartbreaker's dangerous. Don't platform her. But then you got a man that unalived the child. Right?
Yeah, but Heartbreaker
Not only as a mod, they hang together in real life. They go out together.
Yeah, that's the deal breaker for me.
This is
as
when
a man,
shit gets tricky.
Not really. That's just that particular thing. Heartbreaker thing is up in the air. That thing is individual things. She did nothing outside of adults. Anytime when it comes to, we need to hold the old standards. When it comes to the elderly and kids, it's no reason for us not to be unison in that situation. Adults do what adults do, but as far as unaliving, it's certain things. I think I heard another brother say it up here too. It's certain things you just can't outlive. You're not going to outlive it. You're just not. If you grape somebody, you're not going to outlive that. You don't have a right to say how long before I'm forgiven.
But JV,
Just like,
JV,
go
I
ahead.
have a question for you. So, just say someone on this panel has unalived someone, but no one knows about it, right? And then all of a sudden, I get mad at somebody on this panel and I find out. Then here I go to T, I go to you, I go to John, I go to Trip, and I tell y'all, well, XYZ did that. You would have never have known what I have done unless someone went digging for it. So that's where I say, if someone has done their time in prison and they come home, haven't they paid their debt because they were convicted?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Absolutely, positively not.
They paid their debt to the judicial system. We don't have to be around them.
Exactly.
That is correct.
Exactly.
Well, you know, everybody's right. Okay, so you have the choice to unfollow, block them, or whatever the case may be. But my point still stands. You would have never have known about that individual unless that indivital made someone mad.
But that's a
But
chance
you don't
we all
know.
take
right,
when we get
hold
on
on.
this
You
app.
have a child.
Yes,
right?
I do. Mhm.
And then you have, no, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking
Oh, okay. I'm
hypothetical. I
sorry.
don't.
Hold on, let me read this
You have
cash
a
out real
child.
quick. Hold on, Jacob. Let me read this
Go
cash
ahead.
out because I got it a while ago. It says the same people use HBSA against her when they got mad. My point exactly. The same people that was speaking up for Heartbreaker, that was protecting Heartbreaker, that was loving Heartbreaker, as soon as they got mad at her, they threw that shit back in her face. And said she didn't get SA. Said she did like, y'all, this is why I say I'm going to stand 10 toes down on who I am. Because a lot of you motherfuckers just do this shit because it's in the open, and you know if you say how you really feel, that people gonna try to cancel you, and you're so scared that people are going to try to say, you know what, you wasn't riding with us, so now we gonna cut you off. And then when you get mad, you tell people how you really feel, which shows that you're not a free thinker any fucking way. Because how you really felt is what you said to that young lady when you got mad at her. How you really felt is when you were acting like you was on her side and you was protecting her, and then when it came time when everybody forgot about it, or you thought everybody forgot about it, now you tell how you really felt. That's who you are. Go ahead, Jay.
But what I was saying is, in the event, the fact that you have a child, and then your neighbor, you have a new neighbor move next door, right? They were convicted of, I guess you all, isn't it PO3? Isn't that what you say on this app, PO3? Mm-hmm. They were convicted of PO3. Do you want that neighbor next door to you?
Well, no, of course not. But
Oh,
there are
All
laws.
right,
There are
it's no
laws
different.
but we,
It's no
regards
different.
to that. But I digress. But please continue with your thought.
yeah, we may not want them on
It's,
side, but the law gonna let them move on side. We can't stop that unless you're willing to commit an act to go to jail.
What you
no,
just said
I
right
might be,
there.
I
Well,
think
you
I'm
gotta
The
pay for
wrong.
law
your
still
state.
You're wrong.
allows them. The law still allows them to move next door to you. You just have to decide if you gonna move away from them. That's the
I
point
don't,
right here.
it must be different in other states, because in certain states, a PO3 have to try to avoid being so many
Well, they
people.
gotta be registered. They gotta be
You have to be
gotta be
registered.
I know
registered, and
in
they can't be in certain school zones and stuff like that.
right, they can't be in certain areas, but I
Yeah.
know in certain neighborhoods they gotta. Sometimes they make them post signs in front of their house, stating that they're a
Right,
registered offender
exactly,
and stuff
exactly.
like that.
So the consequences of certain things you do are never, they never change. That's what, and I, that's just, and unfortunately,
Okay,
ladies,
so
I'm gonna be honest
let's
with
talk about Black
you. Go
Chicago
ahead,
then, since we gonna do that.
go ahead.
He's on the list, right? Now,
Right.
though he's on the list, he still is allowed in these areas. I want to know why is that. I would love for him to come up and explain, because it's something that he is allowed still to be. He don't have no restrictions. He's allowed to leave the state. He doesn't have to check in with nobody. He's allowed to be around kids. So I'm trying to understand, what is that? Where does that come from?
It would have to
It
do
has
with.
nothing to do. Hold on, let me help y'all out with y'all saying people gift people. Stop that bullshit. Stop the gifting bullshit. People still allow people in their spaces, gift or not. Y'all be reaching with that gifted shit. Like y'all tried to say, oh, Tyme let him in because he gave her a lion. He gave me a lion one day. He been coming in my goddamn space. Stop thinking that everything is about money, because that's not what it is.
Is Black Chicago have been convicted of that, T?
Sweet,
I don't fucking
sweetie,
know
what
how
do
to
you
even.
want?
I don't even know how to. I don't fucking know.
No,
it's
you
a
don't
thing
get a salad.
where
You
he's
want
on.
orange
Hold
chicken?
on,
What chicken you want?
It's a thing. It's a list that says he is, but then he says he can still be. He doesn't have restrictions.
Because
So I
Yeah,
don't
I
even
didn't
know
know
how
that.
that works.
he's no longer
Yeah, I
on
did.
parole. I'm sorry, John. He's no longer on
No, I
parole.
apologize.
No, it's okay, baby. I probably was speaking over you. I apologize.
He has been. So I just want to know what's the whole thing. Because I don't know. I don't fucking know.
Okay, so when you're on parole, you have to report to your parole officer. Number one, you have to go ahead and take classes. Number two, you have to register. The court will make you register. Now, depending on the conviction and the length and the time and the age of the child, will also determine how long you have to go in to your local police office and report, or however your parole officer
Right. So,
or
but
the
somebody
court
was
has
saying like, even
determined.
if you are probation, you still ain't that a lifetime thing though to be on that list.
Yes, it is, but see, it all goes by your state too.
Somebody
if
said, "Did I accept the lion?" How you gonna reject the lion?
what that was
How do
done,
you reject the gift? Y'all tell me, how do you reject the gift?
you can't go
Right.
outside of TikTok and see that.
Some T, you know, some people just say anything
Yeah,
pop
that's
into
what
their
I'm saying. How
brain.
do you reject the gift?
Now
Like,
I'm gonna
please
say
tell
this.
me.
When the thing happened between him and Heartbreaker, I un, no disrespect to Heartbreaker, but at the time it was undecided who was telling the truth. So I went ahead and you know got away from on both sides of the field. So, but now that I know he's on that list, he can never come around. Like when I'm on panels, I'm gonna just leave. Like I don't play the. I got daughters. I don't play that shit.
See, I don't know. I don't know about the registry. I'm not really and I'm just ignorant to it. So I'm not saying this because I'm trying to. I really do need to educate myself on you know what I'm saying, how this works, what levels it is, and I think a lot of people really don't know. A lot of
They
people be acting like they know, but they don't. Because when you ask them to really go deep into it, you realize how ignorant they are, but they don't want to admit that they ignorant to it. I'm one that's gonna tell you I don't know it all.
exactly, but T
I don't know it
also
Even
all.
with
see for you, T, I am not. I am oblivious to your state laws, but California, I know about California. Okay,
Okay.
so it all depends on what state, and that's where you need to really pay attention because if someone, and this person is in Donovan prison, was released from essaying a 10-month-old baby, but a man who stole a loaf of bread is serving 25 years, make it make sense because of the felonies that he had prior. And he was trapped up under the it's the three strikes law that we have in our state that has been amended.
So okay, so
You need
let's
to
talk
really
about
pay
it. So
attention.
what's the difference between Black Chicago and Jaywalk?
In my state, there wouldn't be a difference.
Then absolutely nothing.
Okay.
All this shit mind blowing to me. I'm even reading comments saying that certain people knew about Black Chicago when they met with him. See, that's what I'm talking about. It, that's crazy.
Nothing, but it depends on the level.
Yeah, the
I'm,
stuff
I'm,
that
I'm only doing this
it's
because again,
I
y'all
got
not
the
worried about the what, y'all worried about the who.
with Jaywalk his whole because he stayed around me out here in Houston. I got the whole article posted on this page right here about him. You can go read it. The 2-page article is saying what he did, how he did it, everything. Even the news clipping of when they arrested him and shit. I got all that shit on here.
Okay, so somebody just said something about Nicki Minaj. So now that y'all know that Nicki Minaj is married to one, do y'all not support her? Do y'all still buy her album? Do y'all
They
support her?
still love her.
Do y'all still fuck her? That's what this is again. The picking
I
and
don't care
choosing.
for her.
And not only her
Okay.
husband, her brother. She when her brother
right.
got
Right.
What you
convicted
mean,
of it,
huh?
she paid. When her brother got convicted of it, she paid for his lawyer.
Right. I
Okay.
And don't get me wrong, that's her family. I get it. But she's married, and then she turned around and married one after the brother incident.
yeah, she's a whole creep. Yeah.
Right.
CT, in regards to that statement, it only affects you. Excuse me. People only show true concern when it affects them,
Exactly.
and when it doesn't affect them, they can care less.
Exactly.
So that's where people like to push the point of selective outrage. Because if that was your brother, T, or my brother, then I would be fighting 10 toes because that's my people. Would I tell them on the back end?
So everybody
Yes,
picks and chooses. Let's
exactly.
just be honest. Everybody picks and
Wait.
chooses.
You said if you had a brother, you would be defending your brother.
She said she would. She said she gonna stand 10 toes down
No,
by
I
her brother.
definitely would not.
It's
Oh,
many
okay.
people that
Brother or
would. I'm
not.
just being honest.
Brother or not.
Many people pick
Absolutely
and
not.
choose. Her statement is not unreal because a lot of people have. Like, let's talk about it. That's why a lot of the what goes on in my house stays in my house mentality has been
Exactly.
there. Like, so
Yeah, that's a
let's
big
not
problem,
be
right?
let's not lie and act like people
Oh
don't
no.
then make excuses and be like, my brother ain't got found guilty. My brother, like, if a lot of y'all brother was Black Chicago, I guarantee y'all energy would be different. If Black Chicago was
Not
actually
me.
one of y'all brothers or y'all uncles or y'all daddies, y'all energy would be different. Y'all would be talking about the fact that he never got convicted. Y'all would be talking about the fact a lot of y'all energy would
Right.
be different because of the who.
Right.
I
Exactly,
believe in
because how
innocent. I
many?
believe in innocent to proven guilty though. Like once you get proven guilty, you guilty. But
That's
I
like
not
with
have
true,
me, my
sir. I'm sorry.
hold on.
I
Let me
have
let me just speak.
spoken
Can I
out.
speak
Because
without
I
y'all
don't like
cutting me
him
off?
either.
Let me speak. Hold
I
on.
have
Go
spoken
With the
ahead.
out for
heartbreaker,
family and been outcast for it. So
with the
Right.
heartbreaker in Black Chicago incident, I couldn't condemn him unless it was proof. I kind of thought the girl was telling a story. So my opinion on that, I wasn't gonna condemn him for that. Till I know I got the proof. You feel what I'm saying? Like some people be innocent. What about the people that go to jail and never did what they did? And they get out 30 years later for something they didn't did. They haven't done.
They're saying
Come
it
on,
was
y'all.
so. A lot of people do deem the text message as proof. A lot of people don't, but a lot of people deem the text message as proof.
Gotta use discernment, man. Like some people ain't guilty, some people is. The people that are guilty, yeah, condemn them to the end of the world. But until we got all the facts, we can't condemn somebody. But jaywalk is proof in the pudding. He did what he did. You know what I'm saying?
I can't look. I'm not a law. I'm not a lawyer. This is a court of public opinion, and the difference
And
between the court of
with the
public
rules
opinion and the
for
real
yeah,
and the court are totally different. That's why
the
I
rules
just stay
for
my ass out of it. You know what I'm saying?
right.
Because I don't
The
fucking know,
rules
Hey,
and
T,
I'm not no lawyer.
the rules with the
respectfully.
registration and the parole and all that crap. People don't even abide by that. Like I've been on parole. They told me I couldn't leave the state. Man, fuck the parole officer. I'm leaving the state. Even the registry people. They got them people on the registry, but them people still be around kids. So it's on the community to hold them to them standards to keep them away. So for a person to say this is my brother, I'm gonna keep him around, you let him around your kids. So don't cry when it happen to your child.
Right, that's sick.
hey, but you
So
know, let's look at it this way. Think about it this way. Even criminals hold certain criminals accountable for certain crimes. Let that sink in. Now,
very
and
A lot
true.
of them don't know
Yeah,
that.
for
A lot
sure,
Very
of them
for
true.
don't
sure.
know that. That's why they got to PC up when they get in there because they know they're in danger. If you go to prison for a grape crime or something to do with a kid, they
who's
either
that?
PC up or they play tough and get poked up. No in between.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah,
truth.
I agree with that too.
Yes, commissary get taken. You don't have nothing. You can't shower. You can't do anything.
You get
That's
So
outcast.
you
The
know.
let
mob
me ask y'all
outcast
this,
you.
because this is what y'all got. Y'all this is what I think y'all don't get right. I got to share this publicly. So my friend daughter was unalive, right? It's on camera. The boy did it and everything. He unalived her daughter and her best
Sorry
friend,
to hear that.
right? This was in July. 18 years old, 10, 10 shots to her, 8 shots to the other girl, right? There's a woman, a black woman, that is representing him in court, right? How do we determine? You know what I'm saying? Like, who do you, when you have these jobs and you have these careers, who you defend, who you don't. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is the part that I'm saying, like, y'all talk about moral compass, y'all talk about things like that. Like, now he done got his ass beat in jail and everything. You know what I'm saying? He done been on, like, on watch and everything because they been whooping his ass every time they see him. You know what I'm saying? But you got people representing him. No, it's not
T.
different. It's
It's like
not
what you
different
saying,
because this is
T.
our job as
That's
content creator. Hold
yeah,
on, I'm glad somebody said it's different. It's not different because same thing as content creators. You use your own discernment and how you move, whether you got it's job, it's business, or whatever it may be. It's not different.
it is a
You
difference. So
said, T. It's
It's
a business.
not.
It's
I'm
business,
gonna
never
show
personal.
show
So
you the
It's
difference.
not.
a defense
Yeah,
lawyer can know
I'm gonna
I
show you the
underlied the
difference, T.
person, right? Long as I'm
It
paying
is.
them,
The
they gonna
content
fight
creation
hard
is
to
a
get
real
me
job.
off.
For y'all to say content creation
It
ain't a
is a
real job,
job.
a lot of us are making more money than you make in a week, a
Yeah,
day.
but
So
this
stop
way is
saying it's not
different.
a job. We file taxes on this shit. It is a real job. Whether you think so or not, we pay taxes on this shit. Go
It's
ahead.
this way it difference, T. When somebody commits a crime, It's their constitutional right to have counsel. It's not that on here. That's totally different.
What about journalists?
A journalist can
St.
post whatever
John.
they want.
This is what
St.
I'm
John, she talking about
saying.
a
Don't
paid.
journalists do that?
She talking about more like a paid attorney. So when you get a paid defense attorney that know I just underlined 5 people, it's business, never personal. That lawyer could know playing the devil's
Right.
advocate. Hey, I know you did this, but I'm getting paid $100,000 for this case. It's all business, bro. They ain't taking it
Right.
personal.
But
That's
but
what
but
T was
but
saying
what I,
earlier.
exactly, I get that. But what I'm saying is, at the end of the day, whether it's a public pretender or a paid attorney, he has the right to counsel. That's his rights as an American citizen.
Don't everybody
This
got the
right
right
here,
to freedom of
but
speech and shit like that
yeah,
though?
but what I'm saying though, this app is free will. It's something totally different.
Okay, so as we said, a lawyer can decide to not take a case, right?
Right.
I
They
take
could
the case.
decide not
They
to
can
take
But
it.
decline
what I'm
it.
saying though, even if
Right.
watch this, T, if that lawyer don't take the case, they're gonna appoint him a public defender.
Yeah, that's public defense. They gonna get a lawyer, or
And
you can
that
go pro
public
bono
defender can
and
It's
still
still a
represent
decline
lawyer.
it,
yourself.
right?
So,
No, they
a
can't
public
deny you.
defender, no,
They
they
can't
can't
deny you
deny.
public defenders.
You can't
No, they
deny it?
can't.
Okay, see, I don't know about
No.
that part.
Yeah.
I don't know about that part. But a lawyer, a paid lawyer can decline it, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
You
but
can.
they not. It's all about the money. You messing up their business. They out here. They gotta feed their family, so they don't care if you hacked off everybody's head. They
Yeah.
gonna represent you.
He has to have representation. So if I got a person that is accused of murder and a person that got murdered and I've decided to bring the person that's accused of murder on as an interview, they don't have a right to say they side?
But they got the
If
right, 4T, right there.
let
Everybody
them,
got a right to say they side. That's what you. That's
yeah.
right on, right there.
This this app is
That's what
free
I'm
will.
saying. So I
This
don't
app
understand
this app is free will.
what's the problem. Don't everybody got a right to say they side? Ain't that what journalists
Yeah.
do? Ain't that what newscasters do? Like
Absolutely.
ain't that what they do? They
Yeah.
have in like didn't
Freedom of
R. Kelly
press.
get it right? Didn't R. Kelly get interviewed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't these people get interviewed? Don't they
But I,
get a
Now watch
space to
this.
speak?
Once they get that space to speak,
but
anything they
what's the
say can't be
difference?
held against them.
But when it's something with a child, and that, you know what I mean, like,
People
or
still have to do their job. That's the part I'm trying to explain to y'all. People still do their job. People still do what somebody else like. I'll do this shit. I'll
But
cover it.
that's not the debate though, T. You're a different breed. We understand your point, and you understand how the game go. We're talking about the hypocritical creators on here that picks and choose who comes and who goes, and tries to convince other creators you shouldn't have this person here, you shouldn't have that person there. That's the ones that's bad. They're the ones that's going around trying to dictate who does what.
That's what I'm trying to say. That's my point. Somebody asked me what's the solution. The solution is if you feel uncomfortable with something, you remove yourself. You don't tell nobody else to remove them. You remove yourself. That's the part that people, and the crazy thing is people trying to tell somebody else what to do, but they don't even have the courage, the strength to remove theyself. They'll sit here and argue back and forth with these same motherfuckers they tell you not to have in your life when you can actually just go. But they don't want to do that because they don't have the strength to do that. They don't know how to block. They don't know how to walk away. So they want you to do it for them.
So that's a sense of censorship.
What,
People are
what
trying
was
to
you asked?
censor your thoughts.
Was you asked to block me?
Was I asked to block you? No, I
Yeah.
wasn't asked to block you. But ain't nobody gonna ask me to do that. That's the thing. People that know me know they're not gonna ask me to do that. Like it's people on this app that don't know me in real life that try to tell me what the fuck to do. The people that know me in real life, they know better. They know I'm not gonna do that. They know that already. I don't even have that dictatorship on my friendships in real life. If I don't fuck with a motherfucker, I don't put that on my friend and say, don't you fuck with this person because I don't fuck with this person.
Right.
I don't put those. I don't even do that to my friends, my childhood friends.
Jurisdiction is needed though in some situations. Like some people have to be outcast. And we're speaking to the fella situation, the person that unalive somebody. Even though you serve your time, when you come out, you don't have the same rights as everybody else. I can't get a government job. I can't get this job. I can't be in this environment. They've still got restrictions, even though after they serve their time. So you, like JVL said, you're gonna be condemned for a lifetime for the choices you make. Some will accept you. You might be working at McDonald's,
But who the
just
fuck
like
am
with the
I to condemn
platform.
anybody? Like again, if I feel uncomfortable with you in my space, I'm gonna remove myself. And says who? You don't even have expectations of yourself. You following zero people. You got zero followers and follow 19 people. What type of expectations do you actually really have in reality? You own this app pretending to be somebody. How the fuck can you stand on anything when you pretending to be somebody? That's the type of shit I be trying to say. Like y'all motherfuckers can't even come as you are in real life, but you telling somebody else how to be real. When you hide behind fake pages, fake profiles, shit like that. I've been reading all y'all comments. I've been reading your comments, all of them. How the fuck are you standing on anything? You stand on nothing. You can't even stand on who you are. Who the fuck are you? Really? Go ahead, y'all.
Well, T, I was gonna say this. In regards to standing with my brother, if that was a situation, I know, I know people who have a P290. It's the penal code for the state of California. You can Google it up. That were with a young lady, and the young lady lied because she was in an adult club. So now they have that jacket on them. So
I
y'all
guess
wouldn't
everybody.
stand by your people when they know that this individual shouldn't have been at a club that was designed for adults. That's my question to people.
I'm gonna say that's normally very rare. Like that's normally like 1 in a million. That's not the majority of people charged with that. So I'm not gonna lie. If I seen that on somebody's record, if I see grape, if I see P3, any of that, any of them child crimes, any of them sex crimes, I don't want to be around you. I don't. I'm a.
So you remember, Trip, when you said up in a meeting, because we have no meeting, when
Yeah.
you informed a certain individual that Jaywalk had a record, right?
I
What
know
was
he's
said by any of those? Anybody? Did anybody say anything? It was like a pin dropping, right?
okay.
That's what I'm saying. Nobody wants to be honest with like, and that's a 50 as that I called that out. I did a whole live about it, right? So why is it that, and that's what I'm trying to say. Why is it that these same people get to dictate who platforms who when you platforming a motherfucker that you know
Well,
has
then
this
that would
on
be
their
the
record,
second person in that they know, ain't it?
huh?
If that's one of the people that they know, then they know two people.
Yeah.
And the crazy part about the jaywalk
But how
situation, I
many
really
people
liked.
platforms Jaywalk? How many people platforms Jaywalk? How many people platforms Chicago? How many people platforms Um, shit. I'm not trying to listen, y'all. When I say this, it's not to. I'm not calling these people out in any kind of way. I'm just being honest with the shit that's been said on this app. I ain't gonna say it. You like it's the
AT.
people that got records on this goddamn app.
Right, right,
Boo,
right,
you got
right,
a
right.
fucking record.
I got a record. I
You wanna
unalive
lie?
somebody.
You wanna lie
Yeah,
somebody?
yeah, yeah. I like jaywalk, right? To the capacity that what he do in the community for us, him being a martial artist, what he do, but I can't deal with him based off what I know. It hurt me that I can't deal with him. I know he a good guy, but that's just how society is. You got to condemn people. I be condemned. I can't get certain jobs. Shit, I got to deal with what I got to deal with. The loose ends, the pickings. I can't go get a job that I'm probably qualified for because of my decision making.
And you see, that's I respect his opinion, but that's where we differ. I used to be cool with Jay Walk as well, and with Mario. And as soon as I found out what they did, I deemed them not good guys. I started looking at them like wolf in sheep clothing.
Believe
Okay, so
everybody
let's
could
let's
change
let's
though.
talk about
Everybody
even
could
with.
Yeah,
So
change.
yeah.
everybody can chat. Y'all
Everybody
see
can
that?
change. Don't get me wrong. Everybody can change. But me personally, this is just how I feel. I'm not trying to put how I feel on nobody else. I believe when you touch little kids and stuff like that, the, that's something that's in you.
But
That's
he
something
said he
that's a
didn't do
sickness
it.
in
He
you.
said that wasn't true. That's not. He said that he did not do it. and he
I
stands
got
on
the
that.
paperwork on the page. I read it.
He said it. He said that it wasn't
Where
true.
did he? What, he admitted to it.
He
He
said
shouldn't have
that.
admitted to it. I'm going to get judged by 12. I'm not admitting to nothing. I beat 2 attempted M's. I'm not admitting to nothing. I'm
But
not
the
admitting to
Super Park
nothing.
Five admitted to a crime, John, and they didn't do it, and they served
I
time in
know.
prison. So
I
we
know.
cannot sit there
They got
when the
they got
police are
overturned though.
interrogating you for hours and hours at a time, and they tell you that you have an opportunity to go home if you
Listen,
admit to something and you do it. The only reason why
listen.
I'm a little
I
bit
wasn't.
passionate
I'm
about
just
this,
saying.
John,
This
is
is what people
because
are
I
saying.
help men come home. I've seen
Right.
the charges. Okay,
Misunderstood.
so it is very disheartening sometimes when people won't
Misunderstood.
get people. Okay,
I totally understand that people are in there that's innocent. I know that. The difference between Jaywalk and them, their cases got overturned. His didn't. He admitted on his platform that he did it. He said he didn't do what she said he did. He said he got undressed in front of her in his office. The news said that he brought her to his apartment. That he said that wasn't true, but he still admitted to getting undressed in front of her.
That's what made me
He
condemn
admitted that
Jaywalk
on
when
his
he lied.
platform.
When he lied about the stuff that you talking about, you got the paperwork. Once you see paperwork, that's the proof that black and white don't lie. When he said that he only undressed, that's what made me say, "Oh shit, Jaywalk, you is who you is." You know what I'm saying? Because you didn't take ownership for what you did and apologize to your community for what you did. Because you're a good guy, but you lied about what you did, bro. That's bad.
Let me ask you something. Because you said
That's
and you heard that he lied, that's what made you step back. Are you upset that so if he would have told you full fledged, I don't know what the paperwork said. I don't know him. I heard a story that he was around kids and I got him. I blocked him. But my thing is, if what you heard, you repeated back to him or you waited for him to hear that. If you heard that this man was getting undressed to any degree in front of a 15-year-old girl, that was not enough to make you say, I don't want to be around that man?
like I said, I agree with you, Trip, but everybody changing. What he doing in his community right now, his service, I think the man is a better man from his past. I'm condemning him because that's what I'm conditioned to do. That's what I was supposed to do. But him as a person, I think he an immaculate person. But I think that man really got his shit on track, but he just fucked up in his lifetime and he paying the price forever. Like Jay
Yeah,
Ward
I don't
Will
know him.
said.
I don't. Yeah,
But
I
hold
don't know
on.
him.
This is the,
I know of his
go
page.
ahead, Trip.
I was saying
This
I
is the
don't know him personally. I don't know what was in the black and white. I was just going based off of what he had just said. So that's why I asked him that. Like, hold on. The fact that he was even getting undressed in front of somebody 15. But then somebody wrote in the comments something about walking into a room with a door not being locked or something. I don't know about that. So I'm going back on mute.
That's why I'm saying there's so many other. This is what I'm trying to
But
say.
here's the thing. Forget about Jaywalk. Why should Jaywalk be forgiven when the young lady has to live with that the rest of her life? What about him gives him the right to ever be forgiven when she has to live with that the rest of her life?
Boil down to what T said. We got to do it on our own accord, individual basis. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna deal with J Wall based on what he do it because how I'm brought up. I don't deal with
But
people
what if
like that.
somebody believes that he's telling the truth? This is what I'm. This is why I'm having this conversation because this shit gets tricky. What if somebody believes that he's telling the truth?
I'm about to bounce. I'm gonna holler at you later, love.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I gotta go take care of some business.
Okay. What if
Uh,
somebody believes he's telling the truth? Like, okay, what if
Unfortunately,
people really
anytime.
believe that he was in a room, somebody walked in, then y'all can judge him accordingly, right? This is what I'm trying to say. So are we blaming people for thinking for themselves? Are we blaming people for believing people? Are we blaming people for giving people a second chance? What are we doing? How do we expect everybody to stand on one accord when the moral compass is not the same for everybody?
It's pretty much the same.
It's
I think
not.
it's the same when it comes to kids. Anybody up here think that a PO3 should be forgiven to the point that he can walk through society as a normal human being? Anyone up here?
No, I don't listen. They doing
No,
it. Here's the thing, it's a lot of stuff that shouldn't be happening, but it's happening.
I just wanted
It's
to
actually just happening.
I
Go
wanted to
ahead.
address something that Misunderstood was saying about prison. Everybody not built to go to prison, babe. When you dangle that little carrot in front of their face about coming home, they'll confess to anything. Everybody not built for jail. If I know that I'm going to jail and I know that you do not. It's two things you do not go to prison for. You don't go to jail for hurting no woman. You don't go to jail for hurting no kids. Drugs, murder. I'm sorry, unaliving somebody. All that is permissible in prison. Not no women and children. So if
Or
somebody's dangling a carrot in front of my face, like you can go home, all you gotta do is sign it. You won't do 30 years, you'll do 10. You gonna take that deal. You gonna do 23 and 2 for those 10 years, and then you won't come home.
Not till he try to
Nah,
see.
I'm
Cop
not
to
gonna
though.
agree
Ain't
with that.
nobody copping the
I'm
kid
not gonna agree
charges
with that.
and X charge. Ain't them two kind of charges, kids and that one letter before the EX. Ain't nobody copping to them type of charges. Or what kind of position was you in to begin with, where you would even have to cop down to something that would be considered that low? I don't know. It's
Exactly.
certain shit I ain't
Exactly.
copping to.
Exactly.
Agree with you on that trip. You don't cop to those charges. You go all the way. If you're not guilty, you fight that and let them convict you, and then you get back your
Hey,
time. You don't
listen,
plead to that.
everybody up here talking like they got big time money lawyers. Y'all don't. Everybody don't got money lawyers like that. Everybody is I mean, everybody not, don't know about the law like that. It's a lot of people that took them kind of deals that are doing, that got convicted or got railroaded into the system.
You
The
know why
law,
I took my deal? You know why I took my deal? Because I was guilty. I took it to escape the amount of time, like they were saying. I was looking at 25 and a half. I took a 7 year, 7 month plea because I was guilty. Now, if I wasn't guilty, I would have fought it to the end and let them give me all the, I would have got
and that's
appealed and came back home.
you. It's some people that ain't got no lawyers like that. It's some people that had to walk in with a PD. And
Did y'all see that interview of that lady who on Ileana Van Den, whatever how you ever say her name, where she convinced her kids that they daddy had saved them and made them tell they come to find out the dad never touched them? Did y'all see that?
Never.
I heard a story similar to that, T, and it's sad.
Yeah, and she sat right up there on TV and said, "Well, if you knew it wasn't true, why you ain't keep fighting?"
It was
Sorry, I can't.
some down the line. He probably did something, but hey, guilty is guilty, man.
No,
Like
he
I
didn't do
don't know
anything.
nobody.
No,
He
he
didn't
didn't
do
do nothing.
anything. He didn't do a damn thing.
Nothing.
No.
Nothing.
That's what
She
Tripp
really
said. You
sat
get
up there
those
on
1 in 1 million cases.
No, it's a
brother,
lot of them
Yeah,
cases.
It's
It's
a
more
I
of
lot.
was
them
gonna
cases
say the
than y'all
same
know.
thing.
It's
brother.
and
I
this
was
is
gonna
what I'm
say the
saying. It's
same
more of
thing. You
these
talking
cases than y'all
about,
know.
but unfortunately, it is safer for a society to assume that you're guilty. We don't have time. We don't have time to get into the intervals of what was happening. That's something between you and the kids and your wife.
Hey,
As far as the
Rainport.
society, I agree with what the brother just said. Once you're found guilty of those type of crimes, I'm sorry. The reality is, as a society, we don't have time to disprove or to correct what was happening in your family. We can only go by the end result. And unfortunately, the end results were you were found guilty.
But the end result has
Somebody said once you're accused for them. See, I don't. I'm gonna tell y'all something, and I know a lot of y'all don't like me because of this, and it's okay. That's why I have my own mind. Somebody said once you're accused, I'm removing. I don't think I don't. And I'm gonna tell y'all why. I did this before, and people was like, "Well, why are you throwing this under the bus?" I'm a realist. I'm gonna be honest. I remember I was a kid, right? Um, I was about maybe 8. I think my sister was probably about 6. Um, and my mom, my mom used to be on drugs or whatever. So we was at the house, and I think me and my mama went to the store. My sister was at home. Her guy friend that she was real close with, they were really, really close. He was there, and I don't know who else was there, but I didn't remember this story until my mama told me when I was writing my life story. Um, my mama got home, my sister underwear was off, and my mama asked my sister like, "Why is your underwear off?" Right? So my sister told my mama that the man took them off of her. Right? They beat that man to a pulp. He almost lost his life. They had to hide my mama. Come to find out, my sister had an accident and she didn't want to get in trouble. So she blamed him for taking the underwear off because she didn't want to get in trouble for peeing on herself. It happens.
Powerful words, T, and that
It
happens
happens.
All
where
right,
people
but
think
here's go ahead. Go ahead.
It happens.
I was going to say this, JVL. I mean, what T said is very powerful, and it's true. There are people who have gone to death behind a lie because society didn't want to dig deeper, because people didn't want to find out the truth. But then after they die, we find out the truth. So for someone to say that, oh, how you're guilty, that statement is unfair until it's someone in your family that is facing this. People don't care. I have to
Somebody
keep
said,
saying
I don't
that.
care my kids. I don't believe my kids 100. I don't believe my kids 100% of the time too. But it doesn't mean that you can't be wrong for even if you believe. It doesn't mean that your kid ain't lie. That's all I'm saying. You can believe your kid 100%, but we do know kids lie. So you can believe your kid. Yes, true. And that's why a lot of y'all kids keep getting away with shit. That's why a lot of y'all kids be fucked up individuals because you don't even know when your kid lying.
I was about to say you gotta dig deep.
That's why a lot of y'all kids be narcissistic motherfuckers because of that mindset. Now, I'm not saying I'm gonna believe my kids. I believe my kids too when it comes to somebody touching on them. But it don't mean that I can't be wrong. It doesn't mean I can't be wrong. I'm definitely gonna stand 10 toes down with my kids, but it does not mean I can't be wrong. And I just have to cross that bridge when I get there.
Yeah, but you know, I heard that one sister say something, and I want to address this. As a man, and these other brothers might not agree with me. You might visually be able to fool a man uh, because you're in a club, but it's something about a young girl. You're gonna know she's young. I'm not going with this thing that all of a sudden you happen to end up with a young girl that was no sign or no knowledge. Nah, I'm not buying that. Even if it was my own brother, I would tell him to his face to face, I'm not buying that. I don't believe that. It is something about as a woman matures, it's something different about them. It just is. It just is. The one thing you can't replace is experience. The knowledge of how to talk to, the knowledge of. I'm not buying that. I just think that that's a cop out for men who like young girls anyway. How in the world out
Okay,
of
so
everybody in the how in the
JVL,
world out how in the world out of everybody in a club club you just happen to pull the youngest thing in there. It's
no.
something about you.
Okay, so hold on, JVL. So let me go ahead and give context. So in my state, we have clubs that are 18 to 21 years or older. Okay, so you can be 18 to go to a club. That's the minimum. Okay, so if some girl come in there at 16 that is, i.e., you know, developed, and this 18-year-old boy, he's still a boy, is picking her up and they become intimate independent.
No, he's
Hold
not.
on.
No, he's not.
JV, can
He's
I
not.
finish, please? Yes, I understand he can fight for our country. He can do X, Y, Z, but he can't buy alcohol or buy cigarettes. But because the law states in my state he can't do that. Okay, so this individual does that, and the parents find out. Then he has that jacket. So everybody in the comments that were saying that that person is not is unforgivable, then find I you should find out how old your brother's girlfriend is, or some of these other people, how old their wife is, and the age difference. Because the age difference is the issue. It's the age. It would be different. Oh, so my ex husband is 1 year older than me. Okay, what's the difference between other people? If you were
Hold
to,
on, misunderstood.
yes, ma'am.
Nobody's protecting any. Okay, let me break this down to y'all. This is why I look at things case by case, because there's no all side one size fits all with these type of situations. I think that's what y'all refuse to understand. There's no one size fits all. Everybody's situation and circumstances are different. When y'all learn that, y'all would stop putting everybody in a box, and y'all would stop thinking people are just protecting this person and, I pick me. Like, y'all don't have the mind to think and to assess and to process and to pay attention and to look at the facts, look at this, look at that. Y'all don't do that. And that's a bigger problem than anything. Learn how to think, process, understand, reflect, deep, whatever you got to do to break it down or whatever. But everybody's situation is going to be different. You can have two people in jail for the same fucking thing, and one could be innocent and one could be guilty. This is possible. The same exact crime, one can be innocent and one can be guilty. They say, well, when does your when your grandson, something they said about my grandson. That's the problem. I got two grandsons. And I'm not stupid to know that they can either be the victim or a victimizer in their life. But I'm not going to, just because they're boys, believe a girl. I'm not just going to believe, just because they're boys, they automatically going to be written off because they can be innocent as well. You gonna believe your children until it's your children, right? Because if you gonna believe everybody say I'm gonna believe my kid no matter what. So that means if your son get accused of something, and your son say, "Mama, I ain't do it," you gonna believe him, right? Right? Or no, you gonna, because that little girl said he did it, you gonna say he did it, right? When we gonna stand on business with that?
You got a point. Discernment is needed because even guilty people get off cases from in prison based off the facts of the case. Like, they might be guilty as charged, but just because it was a loophole in it, they found the loophole. It was a man-made law, and they escaped it. That don't mean you was innocent.
They say they're gonna believe their kid no matter what. So if the roles are reversing, your kid is the one that's accused, then what? If your kid look you in your face and say, "Mama, I really didn't do this. Ma, I didn't touch that person. I didn't do that." Are you gonna believe your kid, or you gonna believe that little girl that's crying saying he did do it? Who did what, y'all?
But it's even simpler than that. You're a teacher. You tell parents how your child is very disruptive. They're very talkative. And they tell you, "No, my child's not," but at home they over there interrupting, doing all kind of things. So it can be brought down to the most simplest form of explanation. You know your child. We saw it during COVID. Us parents who got kids during school and saw how much these kids was talking all during class, and knowing that, damn, the teacher was right. My kid is the class clown. My kid don't even have respect for the teacher, being rude to this other child. Come on now, make it make sense.
I'm just saying, everything is circumstantial. And as a teacher, the girl said, if a teacher can't approve it, I don't care. And see, that's another one. As a teacher, I'm telling you, a lot of the kids act differently in school than they do at home.
What about
A
that?
lot of these parents don't know their kids.
Hold on, nowhere. I got a question. So then, if we looking at it that way, because y'all pointing out some examples that are I'm not gonna say that they don't happen, but they are not the majority. And I'm gonna say the reason why I feel this way, because if you're being charged with touching on people, I'm gonna just say X crimes. You're touching people. You're doing something where a motherfucker done told you, "Get up off me. You're making me uncomfortable." They didn't try to get away from you. Something has happened for it to be going to court like that. So when I hear things like that, you've actually
Going to court, yeah.
it's hard as hell to get convicted of
But they not talking about
somebody.
conviction, Trip. They talking about period. They say, what they said in the comments, what made me point it out was, they said, if you're accused, at that point, I'm going to disown you.
Yeah, I'm
the
not
moment
gonna
you're
somebody
accused.
accuse you of some kid shit, I'm away from you. Cause it's real hard for me to take your word, an adult's word, over a child's word.
Now, I'm not just talking about kid shit. I'm talking about period. I'm talking about all across the board. If you accused, are we believing just because somebody accused you of doing it?
It depends. It depends on what the case is. But there's some shit that I'm staying down on. If it's an adult,
I'm gonna protect the kid
versus child, I'm child. You're gonna.
I'm gonna protect the kid hands down. I'm gonna protect the kid.
Yeah.
I'm gonna protect the kid,
So,
and then
I'll
have to take that deal with a child.
But you know the catch is this, and this is what I want to tell misunderstanding is you your judgment is flawed, and I'm gonna tell you why. If you ask me, do I believe the unaliving penalty right now? I'm going to say absolutely I believe in it. I believe in it 100%. Now, imagine if all of a sudden, God forbid, I'm not even going to use that. One of my relatives are now up for the unaliving penalty. If you ask me why they're up on trial, what do you think my answer is going to be?
You believe, or
It,
the court has proven in your thought that he is truly or she is truly guilty.
no, I'm going to be against the unaliving penalty because
Oh,
ultimately, I don't. And this is what I hear from her. What she's saying, because she feel her brother was done wrong. No, it doesn't work like that. He he literally broke a crime, and society has a right to hold him accountable. Every man knows that when we're out here, we have to be careful, even about the man being home by himself with a young girl. Uh, I think that we all as men know until we get to know someone and know us that's the rich commitment. Most men are not to the point where the family know that he's not doing that. We're not going to take that chance.
okay. Well, that's
But by
true.
that time, that's when they start doing something. Once the family and everybody, that's the part that y'all don't get. And I think that a lot of times y'all don't get that. See, that's why I say this shit is tricky. Because yeah, the family wait till they get to know the person, right? And a lot of them times that person also gets to know that child or that teenager or whatever before even abuse. We gonna change it wherever we go. If they putting their hands on you, whatever. They don't start off doing that shit.
I want to make a
A lot of
correction.
this don't start off like this. They build trust. They build a relationship with the people around you, and then that's when they expose their true self. Once they've gained the trust about, and I'm talking about if it's abuser, a man hitting on their wife. I'm talking about if it's an SA. This not just I'm gonna leave. You know what I'm saying? It's when they get the trust. And I'm talking about with any situation.
Can I ask a
But you
question?
know what's strange to me is,
I
is
want to make a
most women
correction.
that
Gabriel,
I've ever
Gabriel,
go ahead, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. You made a statement. How my brother has never been charged with being a P290. So I wanted to correct that because you mentioned my brother, and that's not the case, sir. I wanted to just say that. Please continue. Sorry, T.
No problem.
I don't want
Oh
to
no,
cut
you should have
nobody.
cut me off.
Please,
Definitely cut
God,
me off for that. That was a good cutoff.
I,
I,
I just want to ask a question. So I had to come up here because this kind of touched on. I have a best friend that I went to school with, and he was found guilty of a crime. And I will say by law he was guilty. He was guilty, and he was found for grape. And people's like, why are you still cool with him? If you pull up his record, it'll say grape. But I'll challenge any man to say you wouldn't still be friends with him because he was 18 and he was a senior, and the girl was 16 and she was a junior. Back when we was growing up in the 80s, we didn't know that was a law. We had no idea that him being 18 and she's 16 and a junior, and he 18 and he a senior, he was messing around with her. She told the judge that that it was consensual. Her parents said no, and by law, because she can't give consent at 16 and he's 18, they found him guilty, and he did 13 months in prison for statutory rape. And I tell people, like, how can you judge him for that if you read his record when technically I don't
Thank you for the
agree
gifts.
that that should be a charge?
I just came up here to address two things, so and then I'm gonna get up out of here. I usually just like to sit back and enjoy the comments and y'all conversation. The first thing I want to say is you need to be careful about blanketly applying how you feel about the guys who've been charged with rape and all of that stuff there. I've heard a bunch of things, and it's a lot of uninformed uh, statements being made. To give you a little quick background on me, I did 20 years in prison, and I was in charge and a part of a team that we would get the paperwork of those individuals and address the punishment as such as they came in, and they gave us the punishment. And definitely, you know what I'm saying, we was about that. From the whites to the blacks, we would all get together, and the further I climbed up the ladder, the more I learned, and had to dish out these punishments to these individuals that y'all speaking on that then did this in society. Until one time, and it never changed throughout my whole incarceration, because that is the mindset of prison. And in no way do I defend them or do I agree with what they did or how they did it? So we continue to dish out these punishments, and I was part of that team. Now, until one guy came in and he ended up being my cellie. And then they came to me and they slid the paperwork under my door. He's sitting there turning my TV and my music, and I get the paperwork. I'm sitting on my bunk. He doesn't even know I'm reading this paperwork. And I'm like, wow, this dude did this, you know what I'm saying, to these kids. And he's been in my room now for like 3 days, just 3 days. But I did started, conversating with him. And by reading his paperwork, this guy was a teacher and he touched on a bunch of kids. So definitely my mind is in effect and I know what got to happen. But I'm like, wow, these last 2 days I've been talking to this dude. He never once gave me this impression that he did that. So he had to be handled. He was handled, sent on his merry way. Each time this is what occurs. But one
So
time,
how were they handled? I just want to know. I just want to have a
Get
visual.
whooped. You get whooped on.
Okay.
Yeah,
well,
Okay.
well, it depends on the severity of how quick they want him gone and what he did. This dude had touched on some very minor children, so
Okay.
he had to get stabbed up. He had to get stabbed up and sent out on flight for life. If he don't get sent out on flight for life and the call has been made for you to do it, then you gonna get sent out on flight for life. That's the way the
Exactly.
rules work with the blacks, the Mexicans, the whites, the islanders. That's the way the rules is with everybody. Either you
Okay.
take care of it, or the person who's been appointed to take care of it don't take care of it. Then you got to get taken care of once that situation is done.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But it was a guy who came in. He was a doctor, and he had been doing things to women while he was a gynecologist. And people from my state will know who I'm talking about. But then he turned around after he was incarcerated and was doing his time, and he got dealt with. That half the ladies came forward and said that they lied. And this is after this man had been I'm talking about he's been done brutal because he was black. And as black men, we sent out severe punishments like the Mexicans and the white guys. And he did things to him that should never be done to a human being just for them ladies to come back, half of them, and say, I kind of lied because he was paying me and he stopped paying me. That's the first part of the thing I wanted to address with everybody. The second part is I don't know which brother said it about you can't. I'm gonna stand 10 toes down and fight my case and all that. Well, let me tell you something about that. Me, I pleaded guilty to 2 homicides and got the death penalty. I was 15 years old. Now you're gonna sit there and tell me you wouldn't have did this, you wouldn't have did this. I was a kid. I didn't know no better. I didn't know nothing about the legal system. All I know is this white lawyer came in and told me you're gonna get the needle because you got a double homicide and you're black and your victims are white. No matter who crew, and it was a crew of us, gang members that had a shootout, and these people was unalive. And when he told me that, the only thing I could think of in my mind is I'm getting ready to die. Legally, they're gonna put a needle in my arm, and I had 2 attorneys, matter of fact, because when you have those severe type of cases, they give you 2 attorneys. Don't let nobody tell you. You'll never see a person that's charged with that with 1 attorney. It's the law. It's the federal law. You have to have 2 attorneys. I had 2 attorneys, and they was brothers that I found out later. And they both told me the same thing. They're going to put a needle in your arm. You're going to die. I got nobody to help me. Ain't none of my family trying to help me because they think I done did these horrific acts. Nobody's standing behind me. So I went in that court, pleaded to that stuff, and they still gave me the death penalty.
And guess what? I heard you, brother. Guess what you did? You said it was a gang, 2 gangs having a shootout, right?
Correct.
And I'm taking you was a part of the shootout, but your shells ain't the one that did the ultimate crime, right?
Yes, I'm getting to that point.
So therefore, you are guilty, even though your shells didn't cause the unaliving. You played a part in it. So that 20 years that you did was your time in it, and you deserve to come home how you did. But you were guilty, bro, because you partook in a legal event that caused the unaliving of some people. No matter how you look at it.
Most definitely, because if your partner pull up and he run in the store and pull a robbery and you in that car, you just as guilty as him if he unalive.
For sure. You know how that go, aiding the bed.
Definitely.
For sure.
I know the law. Okay. And thank you for interjecting that. Okay, but then they took me back again. I'm fighting my case. I'm got people paying for college and they supporting me now. They're supporting my cause. So now I'm doing sports bet through my little sister. Them they put in tickets for me and all this stuff. I'm making some money inside the prison so I can pay investigators. So I need to find out what is this my crime? Then I'm not gonna sit in here and die. And once I paid the investigators and they went and got all this forensic stuff and these bullets, come to find out it was never none of my slugs that did anything to anybody. So,
Exactly.
but when I beat them in court, this is 10 years into my stay and ended up back in court. They still didn't want to play fair. Mind you, remember I was 15. I'd have made it back to them at 25, and this is going through all kind of denials. The investigators come in that I done won tickets, having my sister been putting them in and say, "Hey, here go the bullets. Here go the gun he had. Here go how these people was unalive with this. It wasn't him." They say, "Okay, this is what we'll do. We'll give him 2 lives without in 120 years. We're just not gonna unalive him." Boom, and send me back to prison. Here comes another 10-year fight just to prove what had happened. So you can't say what you will do when you are pressured with something, how some people, innocent people, don't cop guilty to something because it can happen. You can
Yeah,
plead guilty
it
to
definitely
something
can.
you hadn't did nothing wrong. You know what I'm saying? So to the
Hold on a
brother that
second. Hold on a
said that
second.
he would
For
have
the
stood
people
10
that's
toes
hold
down,
on, give me 1 second, babe. For the people that's asking, what does this have to do with grape? This whole conversation ain't about grape. This whole conversation is about how do we discern people for what they did, regardless if it's grape, unaliving, a person that has charges on their record. How do we discern whether to entertain them, be around them, be cool with them? So for all of y'all that's asking, what does this have to do with grape? That's my conversation. This whole conversation is not about SA. It's about charges being put or charges on people have just got convicted of something or found guilty of something. How do we discern how we are going to associate with them after that? So he's giving his part of what happened to him. He's giving context behind what happened to him. So if y'all see that he got murder on his record, right? But he didn't murder anybody. Just because he got murder on his record, do you guys still not associate with him? Not knowing that he didn't really murder anybody. He was just happened to be a young boy at the scene. Which, yeah, you know, he shouldn't have been there. But again, do you still not talk to him? Well,
Yeah,
I'm not gonna do that. I'm telling y'all right now, I'm not gonna do that. That's not
yeah.
me.
I still,
Either, because I
I
think
still,
he a
I'm
good
not.
guy.
I'm not
You
that type of
feel me?
I
person.
still
Yeah,
think,
I'm not
I
doing
still
that.
think that, I still think that I still think,
Hey, professional.
I think that you're guilty of the crime. Just like that brother said
I
before,
don't.
you're guilty
I
of the
think he was
crime.
a young boy. I
okay,
think he was a young
that's
boy
definitely,
misled.
I respect that.
I don't think that that's. I don't think that that's
But,
even fair to even put
but,
on a child that probably had no
but
guidance, probably was at the wrong place, wrong time with the wrong people, thinking that they're his family, thinking that I don't see it the same. I don't. And that's okay.
let me,
Like that's why I say we can't put our moral compass on other people because I don't agree that he did anything. He was there. He probably had no business being there. But a lot of us be in situations we ain't got. A lot of y'all ain't got no business being on this app. A lot of y'all don't got no business being in my platform with certain people on here, but you're still here. I
uh,
just don't. I don't think I wouldn't. I would if he came home and he told me that I would not disassociate with him. Me
let me
personally, I
address
wouldn't.
what the
And
brother
that's what I
said
do.
because
I
he
do
remind,
this.
this brother reminds me of every time I get pulled over. This is why now I got a team and we fighting to get my record expunged. Every time the police pull me over, they put me on the ground. Even though I make $120,000 a year, bro, I never missed a day of work since the day I got out of prison. The next day they gave me a job because I had people that believed in me. I got my case overturned and I was proven not guilty. But every time they pull up my record, just like you just said, I'm guilty, I'm guilty. The same thing the police think, because it don't even say I'm out. Uh it says I was given the death penalty. It reads as I'm still in prison. It says I have 2 lives without in 120 years, and it says the two capital crimes that was committed. It says nothing about me getting my case overturned. It says nothing about me being released. So they immediately panicked, put me on the ground, and I have to go through all of this 2-3 hour stay. They did this in front of my job, but my boss knows me because I used to publish a magazine called Jericho called Breaking Down the Walls for the kids. So how you feel, that's how the white people feel about me right now. So every time I get pulled over, this is a regular thing, bro, because I got my own cars in my name, bro, and I'm free. And I got my case overturned, bro. I did that legitimately, but you still feel I'm guilty, just like they still feel I'm guilty. So they punish me every time they pull me over, and they see that and they panic, and then they apologize later. Oh man, I'm sorry. Man, let me talk to you, man. You from such and such. Oh man, I remember that case and da 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 da. But it's too late. You already wasted hours of my life embarrassing me on the ground. Treat me like I'm beneath nothing. I'm already feeling like I'm not whole because once you've been incarcerated and you get out, you're no longer whole when you get out. I don't care what nobody say. And yes, I defend dudes who've been to prison. Yes, I defend who's been kids. Yes, I defend who's been wrongly accused. But if to tell you don't walk in my shoes, then you can't say how you would do, and I'm guilty of this because I'm on paper, I'm not guilty of nothing. On paper, it says I'm still incarcerated. On paper, it says I still have the death penalty. On paper, it still says I have 2 lives without and 120 years, but I'm driving a car.
Brother,
So
you
make that
just, I
make
don't know
sense.
whether you realize you just interjected that. You didn't say that before. I would say that you're not guilty. I would say that you're not
Right,
guilty of
that's
a
what he's
crime.
trying to say because he gave
But
y'all
he didn't say
already
that
the other.
before. I'm saying
That's what the point is, though, JVille. Because he didn't say that before, it doesn't mean that that's not part of the story, and that's the part that people miss. And this is like you don't know the whole context, and some people don't care to know. And
but I'm
that's the
saying I wouldn't
point,
say he was guilty. He's not guilty of a crime.
right?
It's
Because you know now the other details. That's what
I,
I'm
get-
trying
I,
to say because you know now the other details. But had you not known the details, you would still. Nah, I'm not going to associate. And I'm gonna put it like this. And if people feel like innocent convicted or convicted guilty, I think a lot of people innocent have been wrongfully convicted. Trip. I think it's not easy to know, but I think a lot of people have been wrongfully convicted. Like I watch a lot of true crime. I watch a lot of shit. A lot. I research like when it comes to stuff like that. That's why I step back when it comes to certain shit because I never want to be responsible of putting the wrong be like condemning somebody for something they didn't do and then gotta come back and apologize. I just step back. You know what I'm saying? Like and this is in my real
So
life.
T,
This
can
is
I
not just
ask
on
you this
TikTok.
then?
Go ahead.
Okay, so in real life, not trying to be funny, we're talking about at first when we were saying not to plead out or cop out to certain cases, we were talking about children cases and we were talking about SA cases. We were not talking about drugs,
But we
death,
were
things.
talking about all cases, but a lot of people they made it. Y'all
Okay,
made the top. Everybody made the topic about kids and essay, but that wasn't what we were talking
so
about.
let me
So
ask you
people
this
people
then.
put it down to that.
When you meet a man, he say he fresh out of prison, he talking to you, and he say he just did time for I don't know, manslaughter, and you say, oh, okay, then at that point in time, do you decide that yes, I'm gonna continue to date him? You haven't read into his paperwork at all. Do you decide that you're gonna continue dating him, or are you now a little more weary, a little more odd, a little more skeptical than you were before you found out that man had a record?
My ex was served 10 years in jail for murder that he didn't do.
But
And
I'm
when he
saying
told me he
before
was in
you
jail
read
for
into it
murder,
to know he didn't do it,
when
he
he
told
told
you that he
me
was
he was
convicted
in
of
jail,
murder. How
my
did you
thing
feel
is
about moving forward?
I talk to people again. So when he told me he went to jail for murder, I'd be like, what happened? And I heard the story out here, but when I talked to him about it, like I didn't know it was him. I didn't know that was his story. But I talk to people. I don't just write them off. I ask them questions. I do, and that's in my real life. I
Oh
ask
yeah,
people questions. I have conversations with them, and it's up to me because sometimes you can not believe a person to be wrong, and you can believe a person to be wrong. That's the hill I'm gonna have to die on, right? But I have conversations with people. I don't just write them off because of something that happened in their past, and this is in my real life. And people will tell you this in my real life. That's how I am. I don't just write a person off because
Right.
of something that happened to them in their past. I don't know what happened, how it happened, why it happened,
right.
you know what I'm saying? What I don't know, and you won't know until you
Is
have a conversation with some people.
At that's why I said people
okay,
do
is
change. Like this brother right here, Jam. I believe he changed. He won't do what he did. He learned his lesson. But I'm gonna condemn you again, brother. I ain't condemn you, but I'm saying you paid your price for the actions that you did with the gang involvement. Like you played a
this,
part in it,
when people go to
but you
prison, bro, you're correcting what you're saying because
Hey,
I
Tick,
didn't
you
go
let
to
me know when it's
prison
my
for
turn,
what I
Tick.
got caught for.
Yeah, you
I
can go.
went to
You can go
prison
jump
for
in
the
there when you
things I
want to
thought I
jump
got
in.
away with, and that's what every man that been with the
right.
prisoner. Don't let them tell you no different. And when I was helping people with their litigation in prison, I explained that to them. I said, bro, this is not what you in here for. You in here for the things you got away with, and this is
For sure.
facts. And just like the lady up here just said, talks with Trip. Yes, but you should be cautious in meeting any individual you meet, not just a person who's been incarcerated,
Yes,
but
yes,
any
true.
individual out here now. You need to question everything about them. You need to run a thorough check on them, most definitely.
Right.
And you want solid foundational proof that this person is not a harm to you or the people that you bring around him. You know what I'm saying? So I
And
respect
there
what
and
you
there's a
said.
lot of
So
people
let
too
me.
that we have around us that has been doing this shit but ain't never got caught. And that's
I
why I say
agree.
Hey,
we take
There you
gambles
go.
and we take risk every single day. That's why
hey,
you have
Jam,
to
and
use, like for me, like, and I don't know why, and I'll let you go, Key. I'm gonna let y'all know. I've been touched as a kid. I've always had a radar. I've always had I call it the creep radar. I've always had it. I can feel it when I'm next to you, when I'm around you. I know, like, and God has given me that, right? I can always tell you one of them. You wanted them to touch kids. You know what I'm saying? Even when I was young, I can feel it. I knew. I just by being by you, I can feel, and that's my discernment. They may not. I'm not going to accuse them of it, but I'm going to move accordingly because of my what I feel on the inside of me. That discernment goes on both ways. You know, it goes on both ways. I thank God, and my kids ain't never been touched. I thank God my kids ain't never had to experience what I experienced as a kid because of that radar that I have. That some people don't have it. Some people do not have that. They don't have it. But I've always had it since a kid. When
that's
my
a
mama
fact
didn't
for
have
y'all.
it, when my cousins didn't have it, when my sisters didn't have it, when people didn't have it, I had it. Everybody ain't got that. So when I say I truly will listen and talk to people, and there's been times I've been wrong. There's been times I've been right. I'm gonna have to take whatever comes with that in the end, but I'm not gonna just write everybody off because they have a past. I'm not, and that's why I am the way I am. That's why I'm not gonna let nobody make me feel bad for who I am because I'm like this on and off the app.
Right, right. And look, this a fact for the people out there. The recidivism rate for a person that unalive somebody is less than any crime that's committed. A person that unalive a person is less likely to do it again.
Exactly.
They learned their lesson, and that's a changed person. They consider that statistic wise, if everybody do statistics, we are the people that change, the unalivers. We more likely to change than anybody that commit a crime.
And I have to say this too. One of the things that I learned from helping those men come home from prison is something that each one of these men who were in prison have stated. Just because you've never been caught doesn't mean you've never done it. People need to understand that. They need to really pay attention. And
Is my
each one of these men up here, and I know my nephew too. I'm not sure if my nephew did it though. Um, were must have been legal beagles in prison, and
Yes,
everybody came to you because you helped bring them home and help their family members help them come home. And I
yes,
applaud you for that.
yes. And they definitely, I give a shout out to all of them because when they got out, they didn't forget about me. They sent me money to my attorneys and my investigators and so forth and so on. So definitely, please, y'all, don't blanketly apply what one individual did or what the next individual did, because somewhere in there, there's a person who really needs the help and doesn't need to be labeled. Even though there's a lot of bad people. There's a lot of people who definitely did it. A quick something. The dude who taught me the law, he made me promise that I wouldn't help this one individual
What
get
up,
out,
big boy?
and he would show me the flaw in his case. But he said, if I
You
teach you the
know,
law and teach you how to get out,
I pay
you can. I
attention
can
too. You
promise
right?
you,
I
you
see
will
you
never
riding
help
dud,
this
riding
guy
dud.
with his paperwork. And I was like, what? He said he did this to these kids. He's the most notorious person in prison for that stuff. And I really got his paperwork. And he said, you're going to read it. And to pass my class, you're going to tell me what's the flaw. But you'll never be able to tell him. And I did. I found it. And then I gave him his paperwork back. I said, I didn't see nothing in there, bro, for you. He said, for real? I said, yeah, I didn't see nothing in it. But I saw it. I saw where he could have gotten out. But he told me to ask myself, would you like to walk down the street next to this individual with your kids?
Hey,
And I said,
Jam,
no,
that's what I said, Jam. That loophole, even the
it's
guilty
always a
get
it's
off.
loophole.
fair.
And
It's
and,
It's
and,
always a
and
fair.
Jam,
loophole
you was in the right state because in Illinois, everybody that had a part of that pew pewing would have went down for the same charge. They wouldn't even
for
gave you a
sure.
loophole. You was in a great state that allowed you to find that loophole, and that was a blessing. And I respect you for your change and what you did, man.
So
Thank you, bro.
I heard a lot of what you said, and that's when I came in, and I was part of that. I did 9 years in the feds, and like misunderstood, she kind of know my story a little bit, but
I did what I did. You feel me? I got a robbery case, and I'm guilty in my case. You feel me? And they gave me, it was supposed to be 20, but I got it down to 10 because I learned the law while I was in the county. Nobody got hurt. I ain't touched nobody. So you feel me? It is what it is. But I was part of that same team that you're a part of, and I am also a part of that same change that you're a part of. Because now I can't turn my camera on because I'm in my truck. I got a CDL. But I believe that all crimes are not created equal. And when you're guilty, you're guilty. You get what I'm saying? Like,
Straight up, man.
and that's just my opinion. And I can't judge nobody else off of how you feel, and I'm not going to. But the way I think, I just don't like. The feds run different than the state, right? So when those dudes come in, you got 30 days to get your paperwork. Once you get that paperwork, if you got something in there, if you a rat, and if you did something to some women or kids that you wasn't supposed to do, your ass out of here. You out of here. So and it don't be nothing else to talk about. Ain't no you got a day you can either check in or you no your ass is gone. And we'll talk about it later. And whoever go down with it, go down with it. But sometimes it do be lies. But we not gonna find out because we ain't got time to be looking to find out because of what you did and what you're locked up for. Now when you come home and you can fight it and get it off, that's your choice. That's what you do. But in
How we,
here, I'm listening.
so how we apply that to the things that's going on in this app? We
And now and
condemn
that
those. We
and
condemn
that
those that did what they did, and just give them a little bit more of a hard time on trying to get back into these boxes in this panel. So like
see
we give those guys hard time after we read their paperwork and we beat on them. Same thing with those guys that get accused of what they doing on this app. We gotta,
so
as a whole,
so
condemn
now
them.
and now this what I'm gonna say. If
So
you
here, wait, let me say this too though. This
okay,
is the crazy part. When Mad Day come, people expose people, right? And
mm-hmm.
then we supposed to now take a stand and we supposed to put our fists up and go march on this big, you know, cancel them thing. And then they had them motherfuckers right back. So and
And that's
this is what
facts.
I'm saying. Like Mad Day come, everybody want to expose each other. Everybody want to push stuff out there. And then the same thing when you ain't mad at the person no more. Now that person back in your space
At
and you done exiled them and all this. I'm not like I'm gonna put it like this. I ain't got no um hell or heaven to put nobody in. I don't. I don't got no hell or heaven to put somebody in. The only time I call people out is when they doing hypocritical shit. You say you want to call somebody out their name, but you just say you done the same shit. I
For
call
sure.
people out for that shit, that hypocritical shit. You say, hey, you know what I'm saying? You want to lie to somebody, then come and find out you want to lie to somebody too. So I don't have a
right.
hell or heaven to put nobody in. I don't live my life that way. I don't live my life that way because tomorrow it could be me. It could be me that done did something or done messed around and made a mistake or did something. Now I'm accused of something that I really didn't do and everybody write me off. I just feel like I treat people how I want to be treated.
Okay,
That's
for
it.
sure. Now and now I'm gonna say that on for I can only speak for me, right? If I know, like I said to you earlier, Ty, ignorance is bliss. If I don't know, I cannot be accountable for what I do not know. But once I know, if I know you did, I know you beat on women. I know you have essay. I know you have, bro. You're not gonna be in my circle. You're not gonna be nowhere around me. If I see you in the live that I am a part of, you're not in here. You're dead. It's not happening. That's me though. I can expect you or anybody else to move in that accord, no matter if it's TikTok, no matter if it's outside in the real world, if it's prison. I'm always going to move the exact same way, and I was the same way before I went to jail. Even though I was an extreme follower. Yes, a crip, did all the bullshit, followed behind the big homies, did the goofy shit the big homies was doing. I still had certain morals and principles that we are going to live by. We are not dealing with X, Y, and Z. If you have done this, that, and the third, get the fuck from around me. So once I know, if I don't know, that's one thing. But once I know you a serial woman beater and it's facts, once I know you did some essay shit and it's facts, get your goofy ass from around here. I'm not playing that. I'm on TikTok to get away from the goofiness. So once I know that you goofy, yeah, you not around here no more. Don't be in my circle. I don't care what circle that's a part of. If we laughing,
Yeah.
joking, kicking it, kicking, we on serious. I don't take you serious in nothing you say.
And that's definitely your right. Like I feel like everybody that's your right. And that's
For
what I
sure.
tell people. you got to move according to your principle. But the problem is we can't push people to move like we move.
For sure.
That's the only issue that I see on this app. Just because you move in alignment that way, don't mean that everybody else gonna move that way. And you got to be able to respect that everybody don't move like you. And
For
that's
sure.
the only problem that I think that's the problem that I see going on. Like you got people that want people to move this way because that's the way they move.
For sure. Now,
Okay,
It's ca-
Tom, how can
Yeah,
we
but you know what
prevent
the
this from
problem
continuing?
is? We don't have what I hear from you all is we don't have a standard. We literally don't have a
exactly. That's
standard in
exactly
our
what I was going to
community.
say,
facts,
Chief.
We
facts.
do. Everybody's standard is different, and that's the part that you're not seeing. Like,
No.
yes, it
Let me
is.
tell you something.
Everybody's standard is different.
We are the only community. I'm just gonna be honest with you. We are the only community that people could commit crimes and come back and be celebrated.
For sure.
Well, they say that anyway. You know, they say they celebrate somebody
It's a
coming back
lie
from
though.
prison
It's a
before
lie
they.
though because you got all of these other people,
We see it
these
right here. We're
communities
seeing it.
that's
We're seeing
marrying
it real
off
time.
8-year-old girls.
We're,
Mexican
They got
food
these
too.
communities
we're seeing it real time right here.
no.
We're
Let's
seeing
talk
it real
about it.
time.
You got the Muslim community, not the Muslim, the Arabics or whatever. I don't know which community that is. That because they kid did something wrong, they can unalive their kid and they'll protect them. Y'all swear these communities got these standards. They don't have the same standards they standards are different than ours. Again, we have standards, but the standards
That's
are all
true.
different. That's the part that y'all missing. What was that?
I don't think y'all want to treat this like close
The
quarters
IG
because
channel. No,
majority
it was an
rule.
IG channel where the daughter, she ended up she was dating a black dude, and they was gonna marry her off, and because she fell in love with a dude at school, he unalived the two daughters, and then they hid him. You know, they hid him in their culture when he left, he
Oh yeah.
fled, and they still ain't found him yet.
Oh
Y'all
yeah. You
think
see that every
that's
day.
the standards that they live by? Your daughter got to do that, or you can kill him. Our standards
Yeah,
ain't
that's
all
that
the same.
guilty.
Actually,
That's that guilty
actually,
by
I have to tell
association,
you,
right? Like when
that's a
somebody do
culture.
that,
That's a
yeah,
cultural
you
thing,
gotta.
not
Okay, and it's still a fucked up standard to have, but it's a standard that they have though.
a. Actually, I got to tell you the truth. The end result is a horrible, and I don't agree with that. But in principle, the morality is higher than ours. So I don't agree with the end result, but the morality in itself, our community is the only community is literally, if you literally listen to us, we have heard people say that they've committed certain crimes and we came back and we're saying, I'm not going to judge that person. But let me ask you this. For example, if I rob somebody, didn't I stick a pew pew in somebody's face? What about that
For
person?
sure.
Who should
For sure. For
so
sure.
if I'm a PO3, didn't I hurt a child? So
Yes,
at
that's
what
what I
point
said. Yes,
what
it's
point do we
wrong.
take hold on, but at what point do we stand by the victim rather than stand by the perpetrator? In our community, it seems as if we're more concerned
Are you
about
serious? Who the biggest pedos? White tea people.
For
They
sure.
protected the most. What are you
For sure.
talking about? The white tea
So if
people
I
are the biggest
but
pedos is touching their
but
kids.
okay, so
They
here
the
here
biggest.
but so
And
here's
they're
they're
again
not.
here's again
protected. They've
here's where
made
I
laws
say
to protect them. Yes, they have.
That's
They are.
true.
They
Ty,
consider.
Hold
they
on.
are the
Let me
biggest
go
hold
to this.
on,
Let
protectors
me
for
hold on,
go
hold
sure.
on.
to this.
What you
Why
all,
do you
what you
think?
all,
Wait a minute. Come on,
what?
let's talk about it. No,
Hold
Jay.
on.
Wait, let's talk about it. Why
Oh,
do you
let's talk
think
about it. Go ahead.
you go to jail? A black man will go to jail for serving a bag, a dime bag, right? He would get 7 to 10 years for serving a dime bag. But the you touch a kid and you get off with being on the registry. Do you know why they do that? Because that's how they protect their people. That's a black
Okay.
who's selling dime bags?
Exactly.
Black people. Who
Some
cooking
people
their dough? Black
I'm gonna
people.
they're
destroy
trying to
this.
build
Hey,
I
houses.
put
like
hey
So
put
this.
that
No,
put me
no.
in the
to
big
It's
It's
screen,
a
get
Ty.
people to
protection
get
out
Put
here.
me
When
in the
she
big
finished,
put me
I'm
in the
gonna
big screen,
destroy
JV,
Ty.
this.
JV,
Put me in the
All
hey
right, all
JV,
JV.
hey
right.
Ty.
Let her
Put me in the
finish.
big
Let
screen,
her
Ty.
JV,
Look at
finish.
this.
JV. They consider
Hey
that.
Ty.
Do not cut me.
They
Let me
consider that
respond.
a mental illness, JV.
Let me
They
Hey
get some
Ty, put
respond.
people
keys
off.
in the
They
Let
big
me
screen.
consider it a
respond.
And look
mental
at that
illness.
right
Y'all
there.
cut
I
me
just
off.
seen this today. Put me in the big screen.
Hold on. Let me give y'all something real fast before y'all go down that route. And I'm gonna apologize to the ladies in advance who I'm getting ready to trigger because I'm getting ready to trigger you all. I'm telling you right now. How many, since we want to go there in our community, how many of you ladies have been touched by somebody and the black family covered it up? I'll wait.
It's not just our community. Is that what I'm
I'll
trying to
wait.
tell you?
No, 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 no,
I'm
no. What I'm
trying to
asking,
tell you it's not just
hold on.
our. No, you hold on. You
I
asked the
never
question,
said
and I'm
that.
going to give you an answer. It's
I,
I
all.
never said
It's
that.
not a
I never
community. It's
said
not a
that.
race thing. That's the
I
problem
never
you're gonna get.
said
It's
that.
not a race thing. It's a thing. It's not just a black thing. It's. I had a whole live one time. We
I
talked
never
about this.
said it
No,
was.
excuse
That's
me.
not what I
I'm gonna
said.
tell you. I've seen it because it was in my panel. I had a whole live and all cultures came up. You had a white chick that came up and was like, he was the man was like a big time man, and the mama knew, the whole family knew, and they kept bringing kids around them and protecting them. It's all cultures. It's not just a black thing.
but if
They're
you
all
heard what
and
she
that's
said,
they're
J. Bill,
all
she said the
protected.
laws are protecting them. Not we not.
Oh,
She
the
didn't say
law.
just.
Hold
She
Yeah.
on.
said the
Uh.
law. There were laws made to
When you
protect
all let,
white tea
when
people
you,
more than for even in that
when you
situation when it
all,
come to
hold
SA.
on,
It
hold on. When you all give me a chance to talk, because you all don't want me to say what I'm about to say, because you all know it's true.
No, we
And
know
and
it
the
happens in the black community. We're not denying
no,
that.
no, no. I
But
want
you're
to say that.
denying
That's
that it happens in the
that.
other communities. That's the
I
problem,
never
Jay.
said that.
We're
Ty,
not
you are.
no, what
Hold
I'm
on.
saying is it's not a
Absolutely,
race thing. You're not
you're
listening, Jay.
misquoting me. You're
Jay, you're
misquoting
not
me.
listening. It's not a race or
You're
a cultural
misquoting me.
thing.
I didn't
Go
say
ahead.
that.
All right.
You're misquoting me. I literally said you're absolutely misquoting me. I'm talking about once people get out, the seller. I'm talking about once we come back to our community, we're treated as if it's normal. And don't tell me you don't know for a fact that when those people go to their community, that a lot of them are ostracized. We're talking about the
Okay.
elite. Do not we? None of us can discuss the elite, because if we discuss the elite, we got to discuss P Diddy, we got to discuss Oprah, we got to discuss all of those people on the same. That's a whole. What we're talking about when we're talking about that
So
group of
then
people, we're talking
what
about
do we call these what do we call these Catholic preachers that done molested all that done touched all of these boys? That got protected. What do we call them?
Ty. I
What
think
do
you're
we call
making
Hugh
a.
Hefner? What do we call
I
Donald
think
Trump?
you're making the
He
wrong
came. No, hold
argument.
on,
You,
let me.
she
What do
don't
we
get it.
call
You're
Donald
not.
Trump
You.
that literally
Oh my
touched
goodness,
a woman poo nanny and still became the president? What do we
Ty.
call those people? Aren't they
Ty,
celebrated?
I don't know what you're saying. You're misunderstanding my whole statement.
I
It
gotta
had
be.
nothing.
Somebody else. Well, let somebody else explain it to me. Somebody else explain what Jay
Yeah,
saying.
somebody,
Anybody?
because you obviously are missing the whole point. It had
Right. Let
nothing
me
to
see if
do with.
somebody else can explain it to me. Can somebody else explain it to me? What he's saying?
All right, there goes.
I
Somebody said it in the comments right there. I like what she said. Right in the comments. He's talking about parties and T-shirts made when they get out. Thank you, sister.
When
Thank
they
you.
get out, what?
Thank you.
All right, man. Okay.
I never, at no point did
yeah,
I
but the
say,
laws, hey,
hold
JB,
on.
the
That's not
laws
the
that's
point. I
made.
never made that point. You all are making a point I never made. I
I
think
don't
that
understand how
a criminal.
don't none of us
I
get to
never. Hold
say.
on. I never made such an asinine statement that white people do not. Are you kidding me? I know that just by pure numbers, they're going to commit more of these crimes. I've never made that statement. I was talking. I was strictly talking about, just like that sister put in the comments. No one celebrates inmates getting home like our community. That was I wasn't talking about the crime itself. You all are just.
What
I
Italian
don't know. That's
Italians
why.
don't do? The Italian mafia don't do